Hi, my name is James Spiro and this is CTech's Out of the Bubble series, this time in Bnei Brak. I'm with Ysrael Gurt, the co-founder and CTO of Reflectiz. Hi, Ysrael.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks.
Talk to me a bit about what the company does, please.
So Reflectiz basically is a third-party security company. We're scanning websites from the outside to give you the information about the third parties you have in your website. Because today, most of the website contains from many third parties in the website. So you have analytics, you have all the tools that you need, and it's really important to have it on your website, trackers and everything. The thing is that even those companies today invest a lot of security on their own website, the fact is that 70% of the code that's running on the website is actually coming from the third parties, and they're responsible for the security. So even if your website is completely secured, most of the time, if there is something on the third parties, you are not secured. This is a highly popular attack surface today, because for the hacker, instead of attacking your own website, they can try to attack one of your 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 sometimes third parties, and you gain the same level of access to the website because of the nature of the JavaScript and how JavaScript works.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'd like to talk about your journey as a co-founder in Bnei Brak, where we are now, and as part of the Haredi community. So what does it look like? Because you're not the traditional tech entrepreneur from Startup Nation that people are used to. So talk to me about that journey and how you entered it, please.
So I started to learn programming when I was a kid. I was 13. I really liked to understand what computer are doing and how it works. Back then, I didn't know anything about programming and didn't know anything about English, almost. I only know the ABC. So I learned the both together. I learned English and programming together. So my first word in English was if, true, false, for. That this is a word from programming and not mom and dad. And then I started to learn for myself without using internet or Stack Overflow or everything. So it's forced me to really understand what is technology, how it works. After that, I started to work in a company for 3 years for programming. I created a lot of stuff, web, mobile, everything. And then I decided I need something new. And as my background as a Haredi guy, they taught me in my school, they not try to teach me how to learn Gemara or something like this, but they try to teach me how to understand text and how you can read and understand. And since I have this ability, and this is very important ability today, I was able to learn and understand also programming and also hacking. So after 3 years as a programmer, I decided I want to do something else, to do something new. So I applied for a job as a hacker, a penetration tester. And for the interview, I didn't know anything about hacking. So I go to Google and I type how to hack website. And I come to a website called OWASP. This is some kind of Wikipedia for hacking. So in OWASP, I saw something about XSS and I said, okay, I understand it. As a programmer, I understand what it means. And because I have the ability to really, really understand text, I really got it. I know what it means. I know how it's going to work. So to make it really fun, I go to the website of the company that invited me to the interview and found XSS in their website. And then in the interview, Idan, that is now my partner in my company, co-founder in my company, asked me, do you know about XSS? I said, I will show you in your website. And apparently, this allowed me to get to the company. And then for 2 years, I worked as a hacker. So 2 years, I was ranked in Google Hall of Fame 22nd, was hacking many large companies, and then Reflectiz.
It sounds like a great journey, and it sounds like an inspirational one. It sounds like not one that's typically taken by the Haredi community. The Haredi community makes up 12 to 15% of Israel, but it's only about 3% of Startup Nation. How can we bridge that gap? How can we get more folks from a myriad of backgrounds into tech companies like where you're working?
The Haredi Society are 15%, 40% from the Israeli society, but there is some limitation to the ability to bring everybody to the high tech, since the Haredi guys are the only guys in Israel that are learning Talmud and Gemara. So some of them will sure need to remain and be the best in Gemara, because if for example, my kids, I right now not teaching my kids programming. I teach them Talmud. And the reason is that there is a lot of people in Israel that can do high tech, but there is not a lot of people in Israel that can do Talmud. So I preferred my son from the limited population that's able to be great in Talmud. I prefer my son will be in this population. The others that can't do this really need can really go to the high tech, but then we need to have some change a little bit change in our world, but also another change in the secular world. Because even though there is a lot of, I have, for example, I have 3 Haredi guys that working in a Reflectiz, and also 2 women that working here in a CTech via their program, and they're amazing talent. And you know that today there is lack of we need more talent in the high tech today. There is lack of talent today, and it's very struggling to hire somebody. And they are great people, amazing people. And the reason I was able to hire them so easily, because there is many companies that really want to have diversity, but with limitations. It's very difficult today to Haredi guy to, even our really talented guys that are amazing, to get a job in high tech. Yeah. I can tell you my personal story. A few years ago, I was interviewing for a company. My friend brought me to this company, and I didn't pass the interview. And 2 years later, I was coming to this company from the other company that got me as a security consultant. And I told my friend that this board this day, on that day, that I'm starting to consult to this company. He said, "What? Are you sure? How it's working?" I told you, I want to tell you something. Back then, when you interviewed, they asked me, did you think that you're going to fit to the culture of the company? And because of culture fit, they decided not to take me because, you look at me, I'm a little bit different from the culture. And 2 years later, I came to the company as an external consultant for a lot of money, and I think that I have good culture fit. So sometimes people too much afraid of working with Haredi and everything, and there is a need to take the next step and to get more people to this sport.
Yeah, well, it sounds great. I wish I could hear you tell your story all day long, but I'm afraid we're out of time. Ysrael, thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you.